Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Sometimes in life, you feel like the world is speaking to you. Like maybe it's God, or if you believe it's like the universe or spirits or your chi or whatever you believe, whatever. But sometimes things line up and it's just sort of indicative that something's not meant to be. And maybe this is the final straw to show you, if you didn't already believe it, that this Saints team is supposed to accomplish absolutely nothing this year. Earlier today, by now I'm sure you've heard, the New Orleans Saints announced that Sean Payton has tested positive for COVID, immediately isolated. He is fully vaccinated, but Sean Payton is not going to be available for the Saints game against Tampa this weekend. So, if you are kind of following along throughout the year, it started with the awful Michael Thomas injury situation. We went through the offseason wondering about suspensions for Marshawn Lattimore and Deontay Harris. All of the purge that came as a result of the salary cap gymnastics that the Saints have done for some time, and you lost guys that you wanted to keep, like Jackrabbit and like Emmanuel Sanders and Trey Hendrickson and Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown. I mean, you know the list by now. And it's led the Saints to this point where they weren't particularly deep, and then it's been exposed when Eric McCoy in the opener has the calf injury, and now we've seen Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead go down with injuries. Nick Vannett was hurt before the season, and then Adam Troutman gets hurt just as Vannett is coming back. And then Alvin Kamara misses a handful of games. And while that happens, Mark Ingram's out due to COVID because earlier in the season, Tony Jones was injured. And man, Marcus Davenport looked great for the first half of the first game of the season. Then he gets injured and misses half the season. And you get Quan back, and probably from that Achilles injury just in time to start the season, but then he hurts his shoulder and then he's out for a length of time. You get him back, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets hurt and then he's out. And Peyton Turner, your first-round draft pick, haven't seen him at all this year. Pete Werner was looking good while Quan's out. While Quan was out, now Quan's back and Pete Werner's out. And then Cam Jordan has his streak of 100 bajillion games in a row played broken. Not because of injury, but because of COVID. And now Sean Payton has COVID. And oh, by the way, I totally forgot to mention that the starting quarterback tore his ACL in the game you will probably want against the team you're going to play this weekend. It has been such a bizarre, awful year. Listen, I've spent my whole life watching the New Orleans Saints, and I've watched some awful football. The last 15 years have been obviously, objectively very good, the best in the history of the organization. But for the bulk of my life, the Saints have been awful, and it was really bad to watch, and so much so for many of you. And I've seen a lot of awful teams. I cannot remember a team, though, that was this snake-bitten, a team with potential, with hope, with promise, that at one point was 5-2, but despite all of this, and you were looking toward our narrative about wait till they're whole, wait till they get everybody healthy. Well, they never got everybody healthy. It's only actually gotten worse since then as they suffered their first 5-game losing streak of the Sean Payton era, which they broke last week. And now they're a double-digit underdog for the first time in the Sean Payton era. And now Sean Payton won't be there Sunday night when the Saints are in Tampa to take on the Bucs, who are pushing for the top seed in the NFC and might just get there when you look at what they have remaining, which is arguably the easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. Dennis Allen will be the acting head coach for New Orleans on Sunday night in Tampa Bay. Here's what Dennis Allen said when he met with the media in Sean Payton's place on Friday.
It'll be really odd. Sean's our leader, and he's the guy that has been running the show around here, and so it'll be a lot different. It'll be a big challenge without him being there. But the real deal is he's prepared all of us for how we have to play the game. We know what's expected of us. Every single one of us, every coach, every player, everybody on staff knows exactly what's expected of us. And our job's to go out there Sunday and perform, and that's what we plan on doing.
Yeah, that sounds great, but it also is just eerily similar to what we heard all through 2012. The year when Sean Payton was out, it was the same thing that we heard. They had the big banner, the do your job banner, But if you follow football, and judging by the fact that you're listening or watching this show, you do, it is something to say that not having Sean Payton is irrelevant is contradictory to everything we've ever believed about the value of coaching in football. I could believe that in other sports, the value of a head coach or a manager is lessened. Yes, in baseball, managers may make a decision or two relative to pitching changes, or if you're going to put on a hit and run or something like that. Yeah, I could get that. But by and large, the manager can't go stand in the box and take a cut for his guy. He can't throw a pitch for a pitcher. In the NBA, you can affect rotations and you can drop inbound plays, but by and large, your guys need to be better. In football, every single play, you are scheming. Something is being set up for what's coming, and everything is that full week-long preparing for those 60 minutes. And having your head coach matter. Sean Payton's arguably the greatest play caller of this or play caller in the NFL in this or any era. Not having him there is devastating, especially when you're looking at this particular situation against Tampa with that defensive front as limited as the Saints already are offensively. No, this is terrible. Like, this is, I understand. What do you expect Dennis Allen to say? Of course he's saying what he's got to say. But realistically, Dennis Allen, he's not Sean Payton, and he's not going to be Sean Payton, and that's terrible news for New Orleans. For whatever it's worth, Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network did kind of lay out the timeline of how this all played out with Sean Payton.
This is something that the Saints and Payton have been aware of since at least Wednesday. He started to feel not great, was not at practice for one of the days during the week, got tested, reported to reporters that he had tested negative, but had been also exposed to COVID. So certainly this was something that they were watching, aware of, and now just revealed that he tested positive for COVID-19 again. Of course, the last time it was at the early part of the pandemic. Payton is now fully vaccinated, which he had not been able to do previously, but he is now fully vaccinated, but of course going to be out on Sunday, which means Dennis Allen, the respected defensive coordinator, someone who's interviewed for a couple head coaching jobs over the past couple years and is expected to be a hot candidate again this year, he now takes over as the acting head coach, at least for this Sunday and potentially for next week as well.
It is likely, however, that Sean Payton would return for the Dolphins game if he could provide 2 negative tests between now and next Sunday against Miami. But as we've talked about at this point, this is a team that already was up against it. Now they're up against it without their head coach. Sean Payton will not be there for the Saints-Bucs game on Sunday. COVID positive. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.